Year 10 Polynomial Exam Practice Question 17. The function of x is equivalent to 2x to the power of 3 minus 7x squared minus 2x plus 1. A. Use the Factor Theorem to show that 2x plus 1 is a factor of f of x. To show that it's a factor, if we times this by the other factor, it becomes and we make x 0, everything will be 0. So that shows me that I need to show that 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. I take away 1 from both sides, and then I divide by 2 to get negative 1 over 2. The next step, it says use Factor Theorem. So all that means is whenever I have an x, I'm going to be putting in x is equal to negative 1 over 2. So that I'll do it here. That just means I have the function of when x is negative 1 over 2. And we've got 2 times x, which is negative 1 over 2 to the power of 3. Take away 7 times negative 1 over 2 squared minus 2 times negative 1 over 2 plus 1. Now we just need to solve it. So to start off, I'm going to look at the brackets. This is a negative times a negative times a negative will stay a negative. It's a half times a half times a half. So if we remember our multiplying fractions, then the numerators multiply together and the denominators multiply together. So we've got 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1. The denominator is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. The next, we are going to, again, I'm just going to take away 7 here. And it is timesing by negative a half times itself becomes positive 1/4. And then I've got a negative and a negative timesing, which is a positive. 2 times a half is 1. So I'm left with 1 plus 1. I can simplify this first part because 2 times negative 1/8 is negative 2/8. Which is the same as 1/4. Negative 7 times a quarter is, well, negative 7/4. And then I'm plussing 1, plussing 1. So now if we look at this, negative 1/4 take away 7/4 is negative 8 pieces out of 4, which is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 1 is equal to 0. So we have proven that it is a factor of the function of x. The next thing it says, find the exact solutions of the equation. To find the exact solutions, we need to first do long division, because we have a linear factor at the moment. So that means I know that we are dividing by 2x plus 1, and I have 2x to the power of 3 minus 7x squared minus 2x plus 1. So let's have a go. 2x to the power of 3 divided by 2x. 2 divided by 2 is 1. X to the power of 3 divided by x, well, is x to the power of 2. Then I go the opposite way. X squared times 2x is 2x to the power of 3 that I shared. X squared times 1 is x squared. Now I need to take away what I've shared. That cancels out, and I've got negative 7x squared. Take away x squared, and that gives me negative 8x squared. Take away 2x plus 1. The next step that we need to do is look at negative 8x squared. And we're sharing that, so we're dividing it by 2x. 8 divided by 2 is 4, but it's negative. Negative 4. X squared divided by x is x. So I've got negative 4x. Again, I go the opposite way. Negative 4x times 2x is negative 8x squared. Negative 4x times 1 is negative 4x. I am taking everything. So negative 8x squared, take away negative 8x squared, becomes plus and becomes 0. Negative 2x. Negative is positive. Plus 4x gives me 2x. Plus 1. So 2x divided by 2x is 1. 1 times 2x is 2x, and 1 times 1 is 1. If I take away both of them, I end up with 0. So this shows me I have 2x plus 1, and I have a quadratic of x squared minus 4x plus 1. Now the next thing that we need to do is solve this part right here of x squared minus 4x plus 1. So let's do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is use a quadratic formula to help me. So that just means if I'm using a quadratic formula, I've got negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. I substitute my values in. Negative b is negative. So negative b is negative 4 plus or minus the square root. B is negative 4. Negative 4 squared is 16. Take away 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 1. And then I am dividing it by 2 times a. A is 1. So I know 2 times 1 is just 2. I'm then going to simplify this. A negative and a negative is a positive, so it's 4. Plus or minus. 4 times 1 times 1 is 4. So in my square root, I'm left with 16. 16 take away 4. 16 take away 4 is 12. We all know the square root of 12 is two numbers that times together, but it says exact solutions, so I'm going to do it as a surd. So straight away up here, I'm going to rewrite it. Square root of 12 is the same as me saying square root 3, square root 4. I can rewrite that. Square root 4 is 2. So I've got 2 square root 3 over 2. There's a common factor here of 2. So I can factor that out, and that gives me 2 plus or minus the square root of 3. So that is my 2 of the solutions. My other solution, which I showed before when I did this, is negative 1 over 2. So these are my solutions. I really hope that helps you understand how to find the solutions, because we need to understand the solutions to help us with finding our x-intercepts when we are graphing a polynomial.